Okay, so first of all, why there was such a long gap between Wings of War and Scorched? Because I
Okay,
think it's longest gap
hold
in
on one
history.
second, because it's
Okay.
hard for me to hear you. Hold on. Okay. Uh, the long gap between Wings of War and Scorched is very easy. We were in a we were constrained by the way the world is going. So there's not really a lot of things that we could. Oh, Jesus Christ! Am I still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, it's just the way the world went. Everything got shut down for whatever reason, and we had to do whatever we had to do. So we had the record ready after we did our tour for Wings of War, and whenever that was, we were ready, but we weren't allowed to do anything. So that was that.
Okay.
Okay. In one of the interviews, Blitz said that the beginning lyrics and the entire message of Scorched were very.
Who is this? Like, what's going on here? Is that this?
In one of the interviews, Blitz said that the beginning lyrics and the entire message of Scorched were very, very sad. But when you started working more on new albums, Scorched became a little bit more optimistic.
I don't know what I'm talking about right now.
You don't hear? Okay. You don't hear. So yeah, I'm gonna say this. In one of the interviews, Blitz said that at the beginning, lyrics and the entire message of Scorched was very sad and negative. And when you started working more on the music, it became a little bit more optimistic. Why?
I have no idea. That has everything to do with Blitz, has nothing to do with me. I don't know anything about any of that stuff. When Blitz, when we go through the process of putting songs together and then Blitz takes care of the lyrics and everything like that, it's all Blitz's things. That's all it is. I have no idea what he does. I listen to his lyrics. I love every single word that he puts down on paper. I don't really kind of analyze anything like that, but it's just, I don't know. I really don't know how to answer that question. I don't
Okay.
know.
So the next
Do you
question.
mind me vaping? I'm just gonna vape on,
Yeah.
on this.
No, no problem.
Good.
No problem. Yeah.
Do you
all
mind
good.
me drinking Mexican dirty water? This is tequila right here. It's all
Yeah.
good.
Also, no problem.
So you're in Barcelona. Are you in Barcelona right now?
No, I'm in Poland, but I'm
You're in Poland,
big.
but I see a
Yeah.
Barcelona.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. I love this club from
Oh, you
always.
do?
So,
We
yeah.
had an amazing show in Barcelona.
Yeah,
Cheers to
I saw.
Barcelona.
Okay. So the next question is also kind of connected with Bliss, but I think you might be knowing an answer to this question. So beginning of the fever is kind of something new in your music. Who came up with the idea of doing this beginning, this slow
Well,
and then, yeah,
here's the writing process when it comes down to an Overkill record. Didi comes up with all the riffs. He goes through a 2-year process. He has a recorder with him all the time. He's writing down riffs. And when he gets all of his ideas together, he puts them down on tape. He, sends them to me and Dave and Jason and Blitz, and we all kind of listen to everything. And it's basically a process where it comes down to the riffs are set, the songs are kind of set, and it's kind of just like putting everything into place. And then after all of that, I mean, like the beginning of Fever, it's like there was nothing that like it's all the idea was Dee Dee's. So we have the, you know, it was like, okay, so we kind of go on that. Blitz does his thing, Dave does his thing, Jason does his thing, I do my thing. So
Okay.
I hope that answers your question.
Mhm. Okay, so Oliver will try one more question. I don't know if you will hear him. So yeah, we'll try.
Okay.
Yeah, but okay.
On Scores, there are a lot of parts that are heavily influenced by your biggest inspirations. For example, we have songs in Sabbath style, like A Wicked Place or Bag of Bones, which has a bluesy chorus, and Won't Be Coming Back, which has, I think, AC/DC structure. Did you want this effect, or maybe it come naturally to you?
Well, here's the thing when it comes to like, you know, Overkill songs. All right, it's my boy. All right. Okay, give me a minute here. You can just go sit down, hold on to that. When it comes down to Overkill songs, the riffs are all generated from all of our experiences, and all of our influences, from punk to metal to classic rock to everything. It's all about a feeling and an expression. Is that, you know, if something just feels right, then that's what we go with. Some songs are punkier than others, and some songs, excuse me, are more thrashier than others. For example, Garden State on the last record on Wings of War is more of a punk song. That's where like kind of me and Dee Dee come from. You know, songs like Scorched and, you know, The Surgeon and Head of a Pin, Sabbathy, they all come, they kind of come from the same place, you know, but it's like they're just, this is all the stuff we grew up on, you know, listening to all the time, you know, Sabbath records, Maiden records, and everything like that is like every, you know, the greatest artists on the planet, you know, walk out their back door and look at the environment and look at everything, and they paint the greatest picture is because they're inspired by what they see and what they hear, you know. So that's kind of like what we're at, you know what I mean, is so is if you hear a Sabbath influence a little, you know, because we are Sabbath, you know, we grew up on that. If you hear a Maiden influence, we are that. If you hear like, you know, a thrashy influence, you know, it's because we grew up on that stuff. So that's who we are. That's, you know, basically bottom line, that's what we do. You know, that's what you're going to get out of an Overkill record. You're going to get a various taste of our influences over the 50 years that we've been on this planet.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. Few, not few days ago, 2 weeks ago, you returned. You came back from the European tour. Yes, Scorching the Earth. And what are the plans for the rest of the tour? Because I think I saw on the promotion graphic that this tour will be also in 2024. So what are the plans for the next parts?
Yeah, I mean the next step in this process, since we released this record, is we're going to do a U.S. tour, probably starting on the West Coast and ending on the East Coast. But it's a cycle we used to do every 2 years. Is we release a record, we tour Europe, we tour the States, we tour Europe, we do a bunch of festivals. Excuse me. And then we, you know, do the whole type of thing back until we get back to, you know, our normal schedule, which is, you know, releasing a record every 2 years. So the next thing on the horizon is a US tour. I think we're doing Japan. Um, uh, I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. I mean, like, you know, but we're doing it. It's going to be the same cycle that we did all the time. So
Okay. But in summer, when West Coast, because we are going on a brutal assault in summer, and you will play there.
okay.
Yes, in August. So will there be more European concerts in summer?
There is always the summertime is always festival time for us, and you know when we do a tour, a US tour or a Euro tour, like from July or June, July, and August, it's always set for European festivals. So whatever festivals fit into our schedule, that's what we'll do. So is if we're there, we're there. If we're not, we're not. So, you know,
Okay.
as far as whacking, bang your head, brutal assault, full force, you know, all of the not dynamo, but I can't remember the other ones. I've done so many festivals, it's like all of the names start to become the same to me. So
Yeah.
you know, I mean, festivals are a part of our lifestyle, and you know, in the middle of summertime is that's when we do our festivals. So
Okay. So tell, what are the biggest advantages of Scorched in your opinion?
what was that?
Uh,
What,
what
what
are
are
the
the
no?
what are the biggest advantages of Scorched in your opinion?
What do you mean the biggest advantages? I don't understand what that means.
The best sides, the best like elements of parts of the
Well,
album.
I mean, with with every single Overkill record, you have to approach it as this is your brand new, this is your exposure to the world. So we try to make sure that we do everything correct and we do everything as best as possible. Um, for the gap that we had between, you know, Wings of War and the Scorched is it was pretty lengthy, and we were kind of a little bit, I wouldn't say nervous, but we were kind of a little bit like, you know, wondering what was going to happen with this release. Were people going to like it? People going to hate it? Is because we've been, you know, out of the fold for a couple of years. And the response has been amazing. Chart wise, it went up on the charts. Streaming wise, it went beyond streaming wise. So I think it's been well received, and I'm very proud of you know, being a part of this record and making, you know, it can only go up from here. It can only, you know, it can, you know, that's all I'm gonna say. So
Okay. So which songs from Scorched will be played the most? Maybe you know on like upcoming shows.
oh, that's a tough one. Every time we do a record, we always have these things where there's an opener and then there's a couple songs that we play. On the last tour that we have been on the Euro tour that we just did was we played Scorched, obviously, amazing song, Scorched, Wicked Place, and The Surgeon, which are probably my three favorite songs off the record. I would like to play Twist of the Wick. I would really like to do that, but will we? I have no idea if we will or not. So we will find out.
Won't be coming back this way. Won't be coming. Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, there's like, you know, it's really kind of tough when we do you know, when we release a record, because when we do a show, we have to do, Overkill has to play a bunch of songs. For example, we have to play Rotten to the Core. We have to play Hello from the Gutter. We have to play Elimination. We have to play Fuck You. We have to play Ironbound. So you're all of a sudden you start doing 5 songs that have to be in our set. We have to play Rattlesnake, and then we start putting in things that, we haven't done in a while, for example, like Long Time and maybe Necroshine, or Long Time and Horoscope, which is one of my favorite songs ever to play in this band. Is just Horoscope. It's just an amazing song. But it's kind of hard to kind of like, we have such a catalog of songs, and is like, as if I asked you right now, what would be your set list? It would be a set list that we would be like, oh, okay, we got you, but we have to include, like, Sabbath has to include War Pigs whenever they play. Deep Purple has to play Smoke on the Water when they play. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we have to include all of the Overkill staples. So when you start including all of the Overkill staples, spaces run out for what we can put into there. But, as far as, putting 3 songs off the new record, maybe we'll swap Wicked Place with Twist of the Wick, or maybe even Fever. Who knows? I don't know. We'll have to figure that out as we go along.
Okay.
How was the recording process? What did you do first and last?
The recording process is always drums first, then guitars, then bass, then vocals, and then backing vocals. That's the recording process. Drums have to be laid down first, without a doubt, without a question. And Jason kicked it out of the park on this record. The greatest drummer I've ever played with in my entire life, Jason Bittner. Here we go. Jason Bittner. Cheers to you, my brother.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best drummers in Overkill history, because
100%. I will 100% agree with you. We've had great drummers. I mean, there was, I've never played with Sid, but Sid was a great drummer. Ron was an amazing drummer. Tim was an amazing drummer. But Jason brought everything to a new level in Overkill, and I love that guy to death. I really, really do. Overkill has had amazing drummers, but I think Jason was probably the best drummer we've ever had. Seriously.
Yeah, I agree, because the job he done on the Scorched is amazing. The sound.
Totally. And War, I mean, those 2 records that he did were just amazing. It's an honor to be in front of him and having him kick the shit out of me from behind. It's an honor.
Yeah.
Here's Jason Bittner. There you go, brothers.
So, in your opinion, when you compare Scorched to the others, Overkill albums from 21st century, I mean, is it better, or maybe there's a better one from the previous albums, in your opinion?
I don't think there is anything that you could say that is better or worse. I think it's a progression. I think it is the way this band progresses from the inception of the first Overkill record to Scorched. You can see a progression of where things go. We don't really kind of look at it that way. At least I do not look at it that way. It's another record. This is what we definitively felt that we wanted to put out. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel, and we're not trying to reinvent fire. What we're trying to do is just do what Overkill does, is put out a great record all the time. That's exactly what we're trying to do.
Okay. So, what are the plans for the Overkill nearest future?
What do you mean, the plans for a European Overkill tour? Is that what you were saying?
Like
Yes.
yeah, nearest 1 year, nearest Yeah,
Yeah,
to
I
the
mean,
next
just
album.
we just did one with Exhorter, Heathen, Cheops, and it was great. Great shows, uh, great crowds, great response to everything. As far as another European tour, I mean, it's definitely in the works. I haven't heard anything, but it's it's part of the cycle that we do. Is two US tours, two European tours, festivals. Then we start writing another record, and then we do the whole thing all over again.
Okay. So yeah, when we asked you about this inspirations in songs, yeah, you said that you were growing up on this, so it's like natural. But generally, Scorched is a very varied album, and I mean, like I said, there's a Sabbath style like Wicked Place, and there's catchy numbers like Going Home or Won't Be Coming Back. So when you were making music, did you wanted to get this effect, or maybe it came naturally?
It actually, all of it comes naturally, and all of it comes from the natural process of how we do songs. For example, it's like anything on Wings of War just came naturally. It was a process of a riff, the organization of a riff, the completion of a riff, to a song, to lyrics, to the end of the song. So I don't think there's any vision in any of that stuff. I think the vision is the song itself. So I don't really know how to really answer that question. It's just, this is the process of what we do. It's hard to define and hard to describe. It's just, this is what we do.
Okay.
It's like making a meal. There's a process. We make, you cook rice, you make vegetables, you cook meat, you put it together, you put it on a plate. That's what we do. Whether it's the greatest meal you've ever eaten or it's the shittiest meal you've ever eaten, that's just what we do.
Yeah.
What were your goals during making songs? What songs you wanted to get?
What do you mean goals? We wanted to put out a record. That's what we wanted to do, is make sure that we put out a record, and a good record. One that we felt that was we all felt kind of comfortable with. Like what we do every single year. The record. When everything comes together, we all sit back and we say, yeah, okay, this is what we're presenting. We're all comfortable with this, so it's an Overkill record. It's going to happen every 2 years, hopefully from now on.
We hope. So now two short questions. I think that this will be very hard questions, but we will see.
Okay.
Your favorite album of all time?
I can't give you one. I can't give you one. I can give you 5, but I can't give you one.
Okay, so give us 5.
5? Okay. Women and Children First.
Mm-hmm.
Fair Warning. Highway to Hell. Back in Black. And the first Boston record. There you go.
And now, what is your favorite band of all time?
I can't. It's in a. I can't give you a number one. There is no number one, because in my number one, there's a bunch that. My favorite bands are the bands that have changed music forever, including Van Halen, Sex Pistols, Led Zeppelin. I mean, like, I can't give you like one band that I say this is the greatest band ever on the planet. I can't do that because I think that's disingenuous to music itself, because whenever, for example, I mean, like you might be, you're a metal fan and you might like Iron Maiden and you like Slayer and you like Testament and you're like, you know, how could you differentiate between these guys and say, this is the greatest band and that's not the greatest band? It's not. I think some of the greatest music has ever been written is that when you could, for example, is like when I say to you, is one of my favorite records of all time is #5 is the Boston record. That record was their first record they ever did. And every single song on that record is played on the radio today. So that is an amazing record to me. An amazing record. Is it metal? Is it thrash? No. It is an amazing record because it is an amazing piece of music history. That's the reason why I think it's an amazing record. Dark Side of the Moon is an amazing record to me. You know, so I can't really say I have one favorite band. I can't do that. Well, I'm sorry. I can't give you my favorite band of all time. Can't do it.
Yeah, I might be expect that a lot of musicians told me that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know
it
it's
just
a
makes,
hard
you
question.
know, it makes sense. You know, there's a lot of stuff that I like, you know, as far as I love classic rock, I love metal, I love hair metal, I love country music, I love classical, I love all of this stuff. So it's, I can't really say to you is like, this is my favorite band of all time, because I don't have one. Music is music. It's like when you walk outside and you're, it's a beautiful day outside. How do you compare that beautiful day to another beautiful day that you had a month ago? How do you compare that? You don't. You just accept it and you just say, this is just another beautiful day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I understand. Okay, so that's the end. Thank you, Derek. Thank you for
Okay.
Thank you.
thank you for answering. And
Does anybody else have any other questions or anything like that? Because
yeah, we thought to do something like that to that our followers might be gave you some questions. Yeah, but we didn't. So yeah, that's all the questions. Okay, so thank you, Derek. See you at Brutal
Thank
Assault,
you.
August.
thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for your support. And we will scorch your asses in 2023 and 2024. How about that?
Yeah. Okay, thank you.